Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Liberal White Dudes. I am Andrew,
I'm Jared.
I am AJ.
and we are Liberal White Dudes. Today, we
Indeed.
come back to a ongoing segment that we'll talk about in a little bit. But first, let's chat just a little bit about what's happened between the last episode and now. As we sit here today, it is 1/21/21, which is a palindrome, which is kind of fun. It is the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century, which is also kind of fun.
Kind of fun.
But the most fun thing is Donald Trump is no longer president of the United States.
Yes, it is. Very fun.
That is applause worthy.
Yeah.
So apparently there was a bunch
Add that in post. Add that in post.
yeah, there will be applause. Apparently, there were supposed to be a big document drop and unclassified things and a bunch of arrests. I mean, basically the whole Q story was supposed to culminate yesterday.
Yeah. I read a lot of those articles.
I saw the same thing everybody else did, which was just a kind of regular inauguration.
Yeah.
The crowd was a little small.
A little small, little distant, if you will. But some of those articles, screenshots of some of those other third-party social media sites, which I don't want to tout on our show, but essentially would be Parler if Parler wasn't shut down. But some of the screenshots about what was supposed to happen according to their master plan, oh my God, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to check out some of those prophecies, they're fantastic. It's a gold mine.
One of the things I thought was the most fun to read was a bunch of people posting stuff like, "This has always been a parody, and federal agents who may look at this just know that we always knew it was satire and a joke."
Yeah.
Like just a complete, wall of text backtrack of everything they've posted for the last 4 years.
Sorry, bud. You gotta hold those. You gotta hold that bag at least for a little while longer. That's one of the things too is that I follow the POTUS account on Instagram right now. That's something I wouldn't have done before, but I'm doing it now because it's giving me all the hopium. I'm OGing on hopium right now. It's so great.
Yeah.
I know it's 2008 all over again, basically. For me, it's just like,
excited.
Oh my God, finally.
Yeah. I mean, there was still a part of me that thought maybe that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a big part of me, but if this presidency has killed anything, it's been my hope. My hope and dreams.
Hope and dreams. Hopes for the future.
Among the many things that this administration killed, it was certainly my hopes and dreams. But
I don't know about the rest of our audience, but I got a little misty-eyed at the Lady Gaga national anthem. I was suddenly feeling the proud to be an American.
Yeah.
America. I was like, yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. Let's be America again. Let's really get out there and do the United States.
I agree.
I agree.
United States. I am not ashamed to admit I was wiping away tears all day yesterday, just during inauguration, and I don't know if you caught any of the.
What a pussy.
Yeah, right. I know.
Be a man.
Tell me if I'm using this term correctly. Soy boy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure. Some of our audience could probably correct me if I'm not using that correctly. They would know apparently. But I don't know if you caught any of the kind of digital parade across America, but there were some really cool performances. I'd like to give a shout out. The New Radicals came out of retirement after 20 years to perform one of their greatest songs, which was, of course, one of Beau Biden's favorite songs. It was a very cool moment. So many cool moments from Inauguration Day, but it was an emotional day. I think I probably got most emotional, honestly, when Madam Vice President was sworn in. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge progress.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be overstated how awesome that is.
Yeah, it can't be put into words even really how it feels to feel like you're like we're at a point again where something can happen that's not horrendous. I feel like I'm not concerned that every day will be horrendous.
especially in light of what we just come out of, like for that to be what we went to, you know what I mean? I mean, granted, we did have another old white dude as president, but that was a little on top for me, at least. The satisfaction of this outgoing administration was a woman of color vice president. Yep. So suck it, Pence. Like I don't know. That's just I don't know if I'm the only one that felt a little extra for that, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the first time anyone said "suck it, Pence," especially in the last 4 years. Yeah. I'm sure that's
definitely
gone down the old oval.
Yeah.
Oof.
Probably not.
All right. Well, let's get to our main topic here, which is, of course, our dingus today is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk. Again, don't look him up. Don't listen to him. If you've already heard of him, we're sorry.
We did it, so you don't have to.
We're sorry that you've heard of this man. If you have.
As horrendous. With our entire Beefing Over Turf thing, we do it so you don't have to. And then we drag them a bit. And then people show up here who have listened to him and maybe hear something else and go, yeah, that sounds better. That vision of America more suits me than the crap that he was spewing. Who would like to start on the Charlie Kirk drag?
I mean, I can start it, but I'm going to start in the contentious. So one of the things that introduced me to Charlie Kirk as a person was his stuff about during the BLM protests and during that segment of our history, because he did a video called "The Truth About Breonna Taylor," where he basically just lied for 7 minutes straight about who she was, what she did, how the situation went down, what the police officers did. Just lied, straight up, bold-faced lied about everything that happened in that scenario, from saying that she was involved in a drug cartel to, saying that the police officers announced themselves a bajillion times, to the fact that they were in uniform, which they weren't. They were plain clothes.
Just so we're clear, and I don't think anybody watching our program doesn't know who Breonna Taylor is, but this was the African-American woman shot while sleeping in her bed, yes?
Yeah.
Multiple times by police.
She was shot 8 times. I don't know if she was actually in her bed. I feel like there was some back and forth on whether or not, but I don't know. But anyway.
They were blindly firing into her apartment. They blindly
fired into her apartment, and she got shot 8 times.
She was shot 8 times.
Yeah, basically, so the way that it went down,
using a no-knock warrant, and were protected by qualified immunity,
and also a no-knock warrant that wasn't even a no-knock warrant when they got there. It was changed to a knock warrant, knock and announce, before they showed up to that house. So there's a lot of things that are just incorrect with his statement. He said that her boyfriend who was in the house with her was a criminal. He isn't. He's just a guy who happened to also have a gun. As people in regular clothes busted into his house and then didn't announce themselves as police officers, just busted into his house, plain clothes. And, it feels like, especially from a conservative talking point, you shoot that guy, right? You shoot the people that are breaking into your house, especially if you're all pro-guns and stuff. No?
You can stand your ground as long as your ground happens to be occupied by a white individual.
Apparently,
exactly.
That's the bar.
I mean,
yeah, but he basically just lied. He lied top down about everything about her. He basically vilified her as a person, and then at the end he was like, "But this isn't to say that it's not a tragedy, because it is." It's like, okay, you can die. You can die.
Super calming tactic, of course, is the victim blaming from that side, particularly when it comes to the black citizens that are being murdered by our police. I have never seen a society try to victim blame more than
that group of folks.
The Blue Lives Matter crowd.
It's just so horrendous.
I mean, so much of what comes out afterwards and the talking points that people, it's like they want to feel better about the murder of an unarmed person. And it's like all of the things that you're currently saying are irrelevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they went into a prison and they went cell by cell and shot everybody in there, this guy's got a 1 ounce marijuana offense, bang, dead. this next guy, stole a backpack. That's the one I always use because what is that kid? So, bang, dead. And they went to the next cell. If they continued just along your county jail, DUI, bang, dead. Regardless of color, just kill everybody
Any
in
offense.
there. Right. Yeah. That would be the same. That's what's currently happening, except it's not happening in jail. It's just happening out on the street, but they are unarmed civilians being shot for offenses that do not carry the death penalty.
Yeah, and
it's these cops that treat the badge like the license to be judge, jury, and executioner out in the street.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and the thing too is that first of all, she wasn't part of a drug cartel. She wasn't. She didn't deal drugs. Even if she did assist in peddling drugs, still not cool that you shot her 8 times.
If she did everything you say she did, which she didn't, this was the wrong thing. The wrong approach, the wrong outcome, everything about it was wrong. And someone should stand up and take responsibility for it being wrong, and the people who did it should be maintaining justice. Obviously, this has all been said by better people than us, right? But,
yes, certainly.
But to come down on the other side of that just kind of gives you a good character of who Charlie Kirk is.
As a guy, a guy. Yeah. This is stuff that he says and that puts out on the internet for his millions of followers to partake in. This is the kind of person this guy is, just so we're laying the base.
To his credit, and we've said this for other people we have beefed with on this program, he has done a lot in a relatively short amount of time, just none of it any good. But he has built his base in college campuses. He's an intelligent guy because he knows exactly where to go with that. And I unfortunately had to give his website some traffic to do some research, and it's exactly what you'd expect, so please don't go to it. It's exactly what you'd expect at Turning Point, and everything is masked in this veil of this is about freedom. This is about patriotism. This is about bullshit is what it is. It's just an excuse to be racist. It's just an excuse to allow your hate and your bigotry to hopefully influence policy. Like that's the ultimate goal here, is that you're trying to get into positions of power, and you're trying to, his work is mobilizing young voters, mobilizing young people and influencing them.
Yeah, weaponizing and radicalizing.
Radicalizing, basically. I'm just going to say it, and I've said this before off the air, but Charlie Kirk he has a silent K in his last name. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, everything he says is a racist dog whistle. That is always sort of the undercurrent of what he's saying. But on top of that, when you look at how hard, this really made me think about, so taking over college campuses, right, and college student governments, and really getting your people in there, spending thousands of dollars. They spent thousands of dollars on campaigns for student body president at universities, right? Because, universities are a hotbed for liberalism, because it's the first time some people get out of their hometown. They meet a bunch of different folks, and all of a sudden they realize things that they've been brought up to believe aren't true.
Oddly enough, education and meeting a bunch of diverse folks makes you more liberal. How weird. How odd is that?
Liberalism has, again, I know I've said this before, but liberalism has reality on its side. That's the thing that conservatives have to fight against every day. They have to fight against what actually happens in the real world, what you see with your own eyes and what you hear with your own ears.
Yeah. Look at what Trump supporters have had to do for the last 5 years. The last 5 years is basically just rail against logic. That's their platform. And Charlie Kirk's no different. Just like any of these other talking heads. I don't care how many followers he has on Twitter. I don't care how many people he has in his organization. I don't care how many youth college students he's mobilized to their shitty dogma. The bottom line is he's just like the rest of them. He wars against logic and intellect in order to stay and maintain a position of influence, of power, of authority,
of supremacy.
And obviously, supremacy,
and money,
which is the operative word there, I think.
Yeah. I watched his RNC speech. He spoke at the Republican National Convention, which, good Lord, You know, I mean, if you're not, so Republicans tie themselves to racists all the time and then claim to be not racist.
Right.
I didn't know that
Well, I
he'd
have
spoken
something
at
for
the
that.
RNC.
Don't let me forget.
Okay. I didn't know that he had spoken at the RNC because I didn't watch it. It's not palatable to me. I have real trouble watching that kind of thing. I did, of course, see the highlights of "The best is yet to come" and things like that. But so I watched his entire 4-minute RNC.
Especially now that Biden's president, I'll go back and watch that every now and then. Okay.
Yeah, she was right.
I looked it up just earlier today, just for funsies.
She was right.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
In that speech, the coded language that he uses, where he says that big tech and people like that are trying to keep down good, decent, middle class patriots.
Yep.
So that language right there, I mean, he's not. Think in your head who he's thinking about, right, when he says that.
Who's
it's clear. Those are white people.
White folks.
That's who he's talking to, right? Not that only white people are those things.
No.
There's plenty of families that are non-white and those things.
Yeah.
But you can tell by the way he says it that that's not what he means.
Yeah. This was Hitler's rhetoric. They will threaten your way of life.
Yeah, real Americans. That whole phrase drives me crazy because I'm just like, that's us.
Yeah.
We're real Americans.
Yeah.
Fascist, racist piece of crap.
Fascist.
But then he says,
racist.
People want a civil society. They follow the law. They work hard, honor God, and raise kids with strong values. These are all
so racist.
It really is, and not because
racist.
Yeah, and not because
these are Nazi principles. Too.
Yeah,
my
it's
God,
basically
every
just
one of them checks the boxes.
Yeah, you know who he's talking to, and you know what he's talking about. And again, they would claim that we're racist for thinking that's what they're talking about, right? That we don't assign those things to those people. Well, it's like, no, it's because we know you don't assign those things to people of color. You are dog whistling to your folks.
Because we know that, because the thing too is Charlie Kirk has done stuff on he's done culture war stuff. Like he held a conference to talk about the culture war. It's like, wow, just that on its own. It's like, really?
Yeah.
That's what we're no.
It's basically race war rebranded.
Yeah. It's like, no, we don't need a race war, guys.
We do need a culture war though.
We can live together, against fascists.
I mean, we had 74 million people step up for fascism in November.
Yeah.
Step up for racism.
Sure
step up for white supremacy. Now, a lot of them are too dumb to think that that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb people.
That's a good point.
Both sides. To paraphrase the president, there's dumb people on both sides. Sorry, to paraphrase the former president. There are dumb people on both sides.
I wouldn't have minded if you'd peppered in, to paraphrase former one term twice impeached, which we can always, which I'm just letting you guys know you can always throw in.
It seems like we can always phrase it that way.
Like I always say, Oscar award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey.
That's exactly right. He deserves it. I was thinking of something, getting back to something you said that was funny. I was having to scroll Charlie Kirk's Twitter account. I don't follow him. There are some conservatives I do follow because, one, I don't like to exist in an echo chamber, and also it's important to see what the other side is saying.
You want to know what they're up to.
The bottom line is I can only take so much, unfortunately, so I just can't have my feed flooding it. So I'm very selective. And Charlie, you didn't make the cut, man. I only get so many conservatives on my feed. You're not one of them. But I was looking at his Twitter. I'm sure he gives a shit. Looking at his Twitter.
Yeah, he's probably seething.
And as I'm scrolling through it, of course, it's like, oh, you like Charlie Kirk. Well, then you'll love, and they tell you other people to follow. And I came across Laura Ingram's. I was just reading the, description there, and she's like, mom, author, blah, blah, blah. Last thing it says is, retweets do not equal endorsements. I'm like, wait.
So you have to clarify that.
So you're saying when you publish something someone says to your millions of followers on your feed, you're not endorsing that. You're just publishing it to the millions of followers on your feed.
Yeah.
Got it. Like, what does that freaking mean?
Yeah, it's a common YouTube thing. There's two things that are common. That's retweets or non-endorsements, and these views are my own personal views or whatever. And it's like, I don't know if legally speaking, when you say retweets or non-endorsements, like if I spray paint on the side of my house, I love Nazis, can I be like, well, I mean,
I don't endorse Nazis.
I don't endorse this. Yes. It is up here for everyone to see. I paid a kid to write it, though. I didn't write it.
I could see how you would make the connection.
Yeah, I see why you're confused. It is confusing.
It's confusing for someone like you. But
yes.
Believe me, I don't actually endorse it. It's so funny you mentioned that because Charlie Kirk actually does have that opinions here are my own in his little description. I don't know if it was a character limit thing, but the grammar in it is really funny. It basically reads, "We are all sinners saved by Jesus' opinions. Here are my own." Like, there's no punctuation. I love it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I read it a couple times out loud to myself just because I kind of loved it. There's no
Jesus'
punctuation in it.
opinions here are my own.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus' opinions here. I'm all right. I don't know.
In the wake of the Capitol insurrection, where he and Clarence Thomas's wife, I guess, sent 80 plus buses of patriots to the January 6th thing, and since deleted tweets, he of course went back and tried to cleanse that out, because
cover
of course
the tracks a little bit.
All you have to do is delete a tweet, and then no one has ever seen it, and certainly no one's ever screen capped it or kept it anywhere.
Exactly, it doesn't exist anymore.
Which
That's
is
how that
nice,
works,
right? But so in the wake of
that lesson has not been learned on Twitter at all.
Yeah, it's so weird to me.
In the wake of that, he did some interviews, which, God, stop interviewing this guy. It's just like, this guy's the worst.
Yeah.
And by the way, side note, I know we're above this on this show, and I shouldn't even mention it, that his face is way smaller than his head is. And that there's a lot of awesome pictures out there where people have shrunk it even farther to make it more ridiculous. But I was looking at one of the articles where he's being interviewed, and there was a real picture of him that I thought was one of those. And I looked at it and I was like, wait, is that one of those? That's actually,
that's
him.
face.
That's funny.
He has
we're above making fun of that, though.
Yeah.
But he has one of the most photoshopped faces of all faces. Like, it looks fake. Like, it was obviously put on a head too big.
Obviously fake. Yeah, and I saw a video of him where I was like, wow, somebody went through the trouble to really spend the time
shrink this down.
shrink down his face for every frame of this video. Any rate,
we're above that, though.
We're above that. We're not going to make fun of that.
Yeah, we're not going to make fun of it at all.
It looks ridiculous. It's hilarious. Definitely don't go looking for Photoshop pictures that are hilarious.
Yeah, because we are broadcasting it to our group, but we do not endorse it.
Yeah, I just don't endorse it, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't endorse that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't endorse making fun of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to make fun of Charlie Kirk for the remainder of this show. I don't actually endorse that.
Yeah. And those opinions are somebody else's. I can see why
you'd be confused about that. Yeah. For someone else's views, I'm just kind of more rehashing about
more about conduit.
We
definitely aren't going to find a bunch of those pictures and post them on our Twitter either.
No, I'm not going to do that tonight.
Feel like we're above that.
Yes.
We are.
Anyway, in that article, in the interview, he says not everybody who entered the Capitol was an insurrectionist.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Saw that.
So basically, he said they used bad judgment. Which, yeah, right? I mean, you can make that argument for anybody who breaks the law anytime ever.
Oh, goodness.
But I felt like one of the places he was coming from with his words, and again, there's always that undercurrent, right? There's the things he says, and then there's the things you can take away from it, knowing who he is and the way that he's saying it. And the undercurrent was, hey, a lot of folks who follow Trump are dumb. They're dumb people, and they're very, very angry. We've made a lot of dumb people very angry.
Very, very angry.
And they don't think so well to begin with, much less when they're furious about this lie that we've been telling them.
Yeah.
So maybe cut them some slack for just being idiots, huh?
Yeah, right? So you're saying we should maybe take it out on you? Is that what you're saying we should do?
I mean,
we should
maybe,
if they are too dumb to hold the the bag, then it's you then that should
I
do that.
We're saying we can't hold them accountable.
Yeah, that every one of them should be more accountable than the dumb people who just followed the mob in.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah.
people who beat the police, people who actually broke the windows, people who stole stuff, people who should have been shot and weren't.
Took pictures
all
in the
of those
Oval
people
Office or
belong in
whatever.
prison.
Yeah, people who went there with the intent to harm and hurt,
Yeah,
definitely,
guy,
and kill
prison.
and murder. Those guys, should be in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But random dumb idiot who's on his live Instagram, I don't know.
Yeah.
That guy's just an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of compassion for dumb people. I think that's one of the problems with being a liberal is you find yourself with all this empathy and nothing to do with it. Even people who are just like, man, I hate dumb people, and I still am like feeling sorry for them that they got caught up in the moment of thinking they were like Elizabeth from Knoxville,
Yes, Elizabeth from Knoxville is a perfect example. I feel bad for her.
Sitting there admitting to treason to somebody who's got a microphone and a camera, even using the word revolution, and really doesn't know what's wrong with that.
No.
Yeah. They pushed me out of Main Street.
Yeah, I know. It's totally insane. But I have compassion for that to a very limited point. I mean, insurrection is just not tolerable from anybody. But I will agree that I think the people that really contributed to why this happened should be held more accountable. And I'm looking at you, Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. Speaking of Ted Cruz, by the way, sidebar, really loving the Twitter dragging going on of him because for some reason he has launched some campaign where he believes that the Paris Climate Accord has something to do with the workers or people of Paris. Doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
So
he knows that the people who vote for him think that.
Yeah, so it was interesting.
He actually is on a three-dimensional chess,
Yeah, exactly. 5D chess.
It was interesting. That's interesting because someone texted me today. We were going back and forth a little bit about that and how funny it was. And my friend made a statement was, how do these people get elected? And I made the same point you just made. I was like, it's not that Ted Cruz knows or doesn't know this. It's really irrelevant. The bottom line is the majority of Republicans identify as Christian. These Christians believe that their God and religion is above our laws in our country and above the science that actually exists in the world. Therefore, all these leaders need to do is appeal to those values. And that's it. So as long as they are scaring their base into believing that liberals are here to take away their guns, change their way of life, and turn their children gay, they will vote for them regardless of how stupid or ridiculous they sound, no matter what. That's why Trump cult existed. That's why it still exists.
Yeah.
They're Hicks, Rita.
Yeah.
Hashtag Groundhog Day. He talks about the American way of life, as though that's just one thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And then B, he says they're trying to take it away from you. So, and again, because the American way of life and the American experience is so different based on everything, race, gender, economic equality, all those things, he's speaking to very specific people. And those people aren't him even.
No.
They're not millionaire 26-year-olds.
No.
But they are the GOP's base.
Yeah.
That's it. And
people
and that's
who
who
vote
he's
against
reaching.
their own interests every election.
Right.
I can't believe you mentioned Cruz Twitter fights, by the way, without talking about Seth Rogen dragging him.
Yeah,
because
Seth
that
Rogen's
was
drag.
Fantastic. Just not afraid to drop F-bombs and call the
really ad hom him. Really just ad hom.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
His points didn't matter because I think part of it is that Seth Rogen knows it doesn't matter. I think that's part of it. It doesn't matter if you provide a logical criticism. That's not what the point of this is. I'm just telling you that I hate you. That's it.
Yeah. And it really gets under Cruz's skin because he would rather have some sort of policy debate rather than be told to, go F himself in the B.
Yeah. It's pretty great. It's
that's fucking the butt for those that don't
Yes.
No,
just because we don't say those things on the show.
We don't say it on the show.
But
not normally.
Just so you guys know, yeah.
I will say F and the B though.
F and the
we
B.
can say that.
I'll pepper that in
as much as we want.
Yeah. Gotta put that 18 plus warning on the show again.
Slap. Not for kids.
Not for kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, Charlie Kirk, 0 to 5 figs for him and his organization. The idea that he's trying to indoctrinate youth on college campuses is abhorrent.
Wait, we gonna let Jared go first yet? Or...
Yeah, don't talk me into my figs.
Sorry.
Jared doesn't like to be influenced by our figs.
I don't like to be influenced by your figs.
How many figs, Jared?
But zero from me as well. 0. I'm not changing it. Not changing
That's
it for
your
anybody.
final,
0.
no matter what.
Final
we
figs.
Say.
No matter what.
Okay.
0 figs.
I agree. I give 0 figs too. The guy's dangerous and terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's everything that's wrong with the GOP, but beyond that, he's a little intelligent and he knows what he's doing, and that's the kind of thing that makes you worry about the future.
Makes me hate him more.
One of the things I do like about it is that I know that college campuses are a hard battleground for them to win. Because you have professors who are exposed to different kids every year who have empathy, or they wouldn't be teachers. And then you have kids coming through who are exposed to the rest of their class and all of the upperclassmen every year. I feel like colleges are a very hard place to... You had the guy down in Florida who was a white supremacist kid and was on radio talk shows and all that kind of stuff as the face of white supremacy and the future of white supremacy. I forget his name. Don't care. But he went off to college and totally changed his mind. Just spent some time with other folks and found out that the stuff that he had been fed since he was born just simply wasn't true.
It's not part of it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look beyond your own, hometown.
Nose.
Yeah, please.
I mean, what? People moved out of Georgia and then they missed it so much they moved back?
You're telling me. Hold
Trump
on.
tape.
Wait. I wanted to do this all year. Hold on.
Oh, here we go. It's exciting. I'm going to cut this part out in post.
Can't hear you, but it is funny because you're moving your hands.
It's funny, but can't hear your impression. Womp womp. Muffled by the ask. All right. We're going to get that going before episode 37. Nostradamus. Another quick thing to mention before we close out this episode, even though we've already given out our figs. I saw Fauci smile today. Multiple times. Smiled a genuine smile and said that they were going to let the science speak. That he felt free to, quote, let the science speak.
Yeah, he said, quote, liberated.
Yeah.
Liberated.
I mean, the fact that he made it through every single one of those press briefings and that he made it through all the meetings they were having behind closed doors, and that he made it out the other side still capable of a smile. I mean, mad props to that guy. I hope that he is unleashed on this pandemic and see where we can
let Fauci go to work.
Yeah. Oh, and again, just to dovetail on that, since we're talking about it, how horrifying sometimes to learn the truth about something that you already knew in your heart was true, but to really hear it out loud is just so harrowing. When we found out that there was no vaccine rollout plan.
Yeah.
Like, I saw some jokes on Twitter about it, and it was entertaining. And of course, it just speaks to the buffoonness of our former president. But Jesus Christ, how disgusting and dangerous.
As 3,000 to 4,000 people are dying a day, willing to say, we have a plan for this when you don't. And then just go golfing and not do any of the work. And as the president, you don't even have to do the work. You just have to assign it to people.
Tell someone to do the work.
Yeah. You don't even have to assign it. You just have to approve it.
Yeah.
You just have to say, let's do that plan.
Yeah. This committee
that guy's
and that
never come
committee.
up with anything in his life.
There's tons of people in government who will do the work for you.
Yeah.
And you still scuffed it somehow.
I saw a really funny tweet about it that was like, so Biden got the COVID vaccine plan from Trump. It was basically just a Xerox of his bare ass. And I was like, that's funny. But
yeah, I mean, it's funny in one sense and then also horrendous. Yeah, I mean, just bad plans, missing plans, and an economic crisis, a health crisis. I mean, what he's inheriting here is not great.
But he had time to host the fucking My Pillow guy in the Oval Office.
Yeah, so that's good.
Days before inauguration, like that frickin' mattered at that point.
I didn't see a pardon come out for him.
No.
I didn't see a pardon come out for Giuliani.
Yeah, I read an article, actually, another thing that I found really great. This was something that a lot of Trump tears were flowing over the last day or so, and that's been really delicious. As none of those patriots that stormed the Capitol were on the list either. Several letters were written the last days of Trump's presidency pleading, saying they were there for him. That's why they came. How can you let me go to jail for this?
Yeah.
He doesn't care about you,
because I don't care about you. How many ways do I have to show you that I could not possibly care less about people who support me?
No.
Or people in general.
Yeah.
But I have
empathy for anyone
right now, thinking about those people sitting in cells right now, just crying themselves asleep, I'm awash with like satisfaction by that. So there's always light at the end of that tunnel.
I made my morning coffee with Ivanka and Jared tears, actually, and it was a little too sweet. I couldn't even put creamer in it. It was just too sweet.
Just use a half next time. Just use one or the other. You can't do both. It's like I do Don Jr. or Eric. I don't do both. Yeah. You can't do both. Too sweet. The tears are too sweet.
Somber note. I apologize to AOC.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That we will not be able to have her on this evening. We did run a little bit over what we like to do here, and there's just not enough time to bring her in.
Yeah.
I would like her thoughts and feelings on the new presidency and hitting the ground running, and let's do the things. Yeah, let's
do the things while
and more importantly, maybe undo the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in our defense, I don't think she's super big on beefing. So, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
so she's way above that shit. So
she actually went toe-to-toe with Cruz a few days ago.
She did.
That's
a little different, though, I think, than going toe-to-toe with a guy like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, it gives him some legitimacy if people in our government. Wait, he spoke at the RNC.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should be dragging that guy at the highest levels. Right. Give him visibility and then throw him in prison.
Yeah. There you go.
Agreed.
The two-step program.
Yeah. Where are those buses at, Charlie? How many of the insurrectionists did you bus out of there? Are you aiding and abetting?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a congressional hearing.
Yeah.
Just ask a couple questions about the buses and who was there and who did you take there and who did you
Where's asking
supply
the questions?
And
Glenn Beck style.
Just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
Come on, man. Alex Jones, he's just asking questions.
We're all just asking questions.
All right.
You guys are accustomed to it.
Small face, big head. Good night, everybody. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, like us over there on Facebook, and definitely follow us on Twitter, where we're friggin' hilarious. That Jason Momoa Bernie Sanders gif is to die for.
Gold.
We're here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks, everybody. Liberal white dude.